Hey guys, how you doing? So we have a couple of DIY projects going on. Well, we always have DIY projects going on. But today what I'm looking to do is we have 6 windows like this that we're wanting to hang blinds in. This is the side room that's attached to the garage. So we got 6 windows like this to put in blinds. And the other blinds are on the other side. I'll show you that real quick. So here's the main garage area. Excuse the mess. It's an organized mess. We're starting to know where things are now. So we have 6 windows. We have one here. We have 1, 2, and there's another one behind the RV. There's 3 over there. And then we got 1 here. So there's 5 over here and 1 on the side room. So we're looking at putting blinds up. But before we do that, I want to put this shop light up. We got a shop light. And I decided to go with one that already has the plug on it. So it just plugs right into the receptacle. And then we're going to hang it. It hangs on chains and it has a pull chain on it. So we don't really have to put in a switch. I thought about putting in a switch, but I think the pull chain will work just fine. It's just a simple room. We just need some light in here. So we just got a simple shop light to install. We're going to put it up between the rafters, I think, right here. And we'll see how it works. Okay, so here's the first thing we're going to do is I've taken the light out of the box. It's an LED light. We did go on Marketplace and try to find a shop light for what should be around $5, $10, maybe $15. But they were all fluorescent lights. It was hard to find an LED light and a shop light. So we just said, hey, we'll just get it at the store. It don't cost that much. So this was $24 at Lowe's. Plus my 10% military basically takes out the tax. So $24. You got a light. Now what I do like about this light, now I did opt for the pull chain, so you're not, putting a switch in here with the door location and the proximity to the power source. I just thought a pull chain might be better. And it just plugs in, so it'll be real easy, no hard wiring. Another thing I like about these is that they're linkable. So if one light isn't enough and I decide I want to put a second light in linear, I can get the linkable connection, and then you just plug one light into the other light and they come on together. So that's an option. So I'm thinking about that. With that in mind, I've got really 2 options to center the light. I can go between rafters 2 and 3 and hang it, or between 4 and 6. So I'm looking to go here, and if this isn't enough light right here, then I can hang another light over there and it'll really light the room up. But I want to see how much light this does. This might be enough. And then maybe later we decide if we want to get a second light. Then hey, it's real easy. You just hang it and plug it. So it's expandable. So I like the idea that this can grow with us. If we need more light, we just go get another light bar. So I'm going to go ahead and get the hooks put into the rafters. Now these have gotten better in the more recent years than the old ones, guys, if you remember. There's a couple of hooks here. What you do is you just hook them on the end. There's a couple of holes, and they've even made it easy. It used to be that the chains would hook on here and they would fall out easily when you go to put them up. But these, you just put the wires in there and you run them through the holes. Well, I got one side in. There we go. And so they just run through the holes like that. They're real easy. And you can just lay it on its back while you set it up there and then put it on the hooks. So I'm going to go ahead and hang the chains and be right back. Okay, I wanted to show you the rest of this light install. It was pretty easy. I just hung these chains. I did shorten them a little bit to raise the light up so it would have more light broadcast, so it would go. We got some shelves over here. We want to be able to get some light on the top shelves. So as you can see, they're just chains. They just simply hook, and the chains are about 15 or 20 links in length, so you can lower it. So that's how it hooks up. You can see this side a little better because I'm closer to it. And I did some pre-drilled the holes and then hand screwed the hooks in there. They come with the light, and you just hang the chain. And they give you one zip tie, so I used it there to hold the cord up so nothing could snag it. And then I just ran it over to my ceiling plug there. And I hammered in some, those are insulated staples for holding wire to wood. And so gives you a nice clean appearance. So your wire is not hanging down in your way. And then all you do is you just pull the chain. You come in and there you got light. So looking at the light, I do think I want to get a second light and put in the back of the room, as you can see. So what I'll do is I'll hang another light the same way from here to here, and it plugs right into that one. So then I don't have to do any, I don't have to try to get it to an outlet. Plug it here, and then zip tie the wire, and then maybe tack it right here, and then plug it in right there. And we'll have two lights. And I think they'll both work on one chain pull, because I think if you turn that one off, it kills this plug. I don't know that for sure. I'll have to try it and see. So I hope that's what it does, because that would be nice. Anyway, that completes our little do-it-yourself shop light install. It was very simple. You don't have to have any wiring expertise on this. Just hook it up and plug it in and pull the chain. On to the next adventure. Okay, we have another DIY project here at the house. So what we want to do is there's two outside spigots. And those outside spigots are, there's one on each side of the house. And it has CPVC 1/2 inch plumbing going to it. Even though it's a cold water source or cold water spigot, it has the CPVC, which is designed for hot water. So it's a 1/2 inch CPVC. So what I did is I bought two ball valves, two shut-off valves. I want to be able to shut them off inside the house. And why do you ask? Because in the winter, you're not going to use those outside spigots. So instead of letting them freeze up, I can shut them off, and then I can open them up and they won't freeze. Open them up on the outside, shut them off under the basement and in the cross space of the house. That way there's no cold water or no water at all going through the end of that line. And so the outside air temperature is making that spigot cold on the outside, won't freeze that water in that spigot. And at least you won't have a busted line at the spigot. So I want to put a couple of shut-off valves. So what I did is I need to first shut the water off to those valves, but there are no valves on that line. The whole house doesn't have any valves underneath it, and I think they should have put shut-off valves for sure. They didn't do it, so what you got to do is you got to come out here in the yard, and I'll flip this camera. Here's the shut-off valve for the house, and this is the resident shut-off valve. This is the city's meter and shut-off valve. So they really don't like residents to be in here tinkering with this, and I wouldn't want to, because everything on this side of the meter over here is mine. Everything on this side belongs to the city or the township. So the problem herein lies, this is the only shut-off valve to the entire house. And as you can see, I can't shut it off because this box is too far left. I don't know how this box it's not centered. So when I go to try to shut this off, that's as far as it'll go, and then it hits the side of the box, you see there? So I can cut this out, which is probably my easier fix. It's plastic. I can cut this out, or the real way to fix this would be to dig this area out and move this whole box over to the right. Because look, you can see I got space a couple good inches here. I can move this box over. For right now, I want to get these shut-off valves installed, so I'm just going to go ahead and shut it off back here at the city. And we'll deal with this part another day, but you definitely need a shut-off valve to your house. Like right now, if I had to shut something off, I couldn't. Not easily, anyway. So, I think that's a huge fail, but in fact, I can go ahead and do this right now. A pair of pliers makes it easier. They do have a T-bar tool that fits these, but I don't have that. So you just turn it. Ooh, that's hard to turn. I have to put the phone down. Okay, guys, here's what I did. The city meter there, that thing didn't want to move, and I didn't want to break it, especially on their side. So I left it alone. I came back to this one. And notice here it's got a check valve. That's good. Yeah, a check valve. Something Otter Creek doesn't have. So anyway, I took my grinder and carefully cut this plastic out as far as I could. Now I'm going to have to come back in here and do some more with this to get it broken off at the end, which will mean digging it out and maybe cutting down further. But right now I just got it to where I can move it with my fingers, and the shutoff valve is in there, and I was able to turn the handle on a 90 degrees. So at least I have the water off, so I can finish doing what I was going to do. So we'll come back to this another day. That's another DIY. I just don't have time to do it today. So now what we're going to do is go over here underneath the house. I'll take you guys along with me here. As you can see, we're starting to get quite a bit of leaf droplets. It's starting to move into fall a little bit, but it is humid today. It was nice this morning, nice and cool, and now it's kind of sticky. So there's the crawl space to get inside. So I'll meet you inside there, and I'll be right back at you. Okay, here we are under the house. And these are the lines. These are water lines. This is the cold water side. Actually, no, it's the hot water side. That's going to the kitchen sink. This is the cold water side going to the kitchen sink. And you can tell because it's on the right. I mean, on the right is the cold, on the left is the hot. Also, they have it teed in. So from this point to the end, that spigot there goes to the outside water hose spigot. So I need to put in a shutoff valve somewhere on the downside of this T. So it can be anywhere in here. You just want to have enough room, and then the line, once you cut it, the line has to have enough flex in it to get the valve in there. And then as you push and seal it, you turn it just a little bit so it, it gets all the bubbles out and it gives a good tight water seal. So this is a water pressure line. So you have to glue it. So you got some primer and you got some glue. And if you don't prime it and you just glue it, it's going to leak. My experience is you absolutely need the primer, because what it does is it cleans the surface so the glue adheres to it. And it probably does some other chemical reaction to help the glue seal to it. So we're going to do a cut on this line. I'm going to see if I can position this phone better so I can't hold it and do it at the same time. Okay, here we are. Anytime I'm working, I usually have what's called a sweat towel, because I sweat a lot. And I get where I sweat so much I can't even see what I'm doing. So I have to bring a sweat towel on the job. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. I think right about here should be good. Anywhere on here that you can access it. So these are PVC cutters. And you might get a little bit of water that's going to run out of this line, but that's normal. I've opened the spigot, so there shouldn't be much water coming out. Okay. Go ahead and let that little bit of water run out. The water run out of this line. Okay. Give it a quick dry. Okay, first is the primer. This purple stuff gets all over everything and stains everything. And the lid on this primer is leaking from the store, so it's a mess. But we're not going to waste it. So all you do is you prime it, get a little glue in there, or not glue, but primer. Set that down. And then you got to prime your two ends and move your cobwebs. So there's a little bit of flexibility in this line. That's perfect. That's what you want. Not too much. Be careful not to break the line, or you'll be running to the store. Okay, get plenty of primer. You don't need to be cheap on that primer. Go ahead and put it on there as much as it takes to coat it. And then the glue. So once you start the glue process, you got to move quick. This glue sets up really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and do both sides at once. Got the glue on, and then get the glue on both sides. It's nice and wet. Grab your ball valve, stick it on there, and hope this don't break, because I'm having to pull that pretty hard. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, okay, that line will move back a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, that should work. I probably should have taken a little piece of pipe out of that, like a little section like this big, because now it's kind of putting pressure on that line. I don't think it'll break, but let me show you what I didn't do. So right here, let's see, where am I? Right here. Hard to tell from here. Let me get up here. Do you see the slight bow on this line? That's putting a little pressure on that line. That space right there is what I should have cut out of here, and then this would have been straight. But I didn't catch that till it was kind of too late. And that glue sets up fast, so you got to move. So that one's good. There is a little bit of flexibility in this line on this side where I can push it back. And I did that a little bit. There should be a lot more give on that line. There we go. There is some give on that line, so it should be okay. If it was going to break, it would have just broke. So we should be all right. At least if it does break, we have a shutoff valve right there. Boom. Right now the valve is open. If the handle is in line with the pipe, that means the valve is open. When the valve is closed, then all you have to do is turn it in the right direction. A quarter turn, and that shuts the water off. So this will be winter mode. Cutting the water off and then cutting it back on. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get any glue down in that ball valve, because that'll get stuck and you'll be having to buy another one. So that's off. That's on. Okay, we got one more of those to do. I'll meet you on the other side, because it's on the other side of the house. Okay, back at you. We got our valve for the other side of the house. Now this one goes from 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch CPVC. I don't know why they ran CPVC through the whole house. You only really need it on the hot water side, and it's a little more expensive. So I wouldn't have done that. I would have just ran PVC for the cold water side, and then CPVC from the hot water tank over to the hot water outlets. You know, your shower, your sink in the bathroom, sink in the kitchen. So that's all we got here. We have one bathroom, one kitchen. So you got 2 sinks, 1 tub, 1 toilet, and a hot water heater. Oh yeah, and then your line for the washing machine. That's it. So I'll go ahead and place you, and we'll do this the same way we did the other one. This one's a little easier just because it's in a better place. You'll get a real close-up view of it too. So I've got a little flex in this line as well, but we're going to remember to cut that little section out. So the piece, the little section that you want to cut out is the piece that goes in between here, because your pipe is going to run inside up to here where this ridge is and stop, and then stop. So you're adding an inch of line there, and so that's what put pressure on that other line. So we're going to remember that, and we're going to cut out a 1-inch section, roughly a 1 inch. You want to, it's always better to cut once, measure twice, cut once. So I got a cut on my finger, and that stuff stings. Ooh. I don't know if you can see that. That cut on my finger and that primer. Ooh, that hurts. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut the line. It just needs to be cut anywhere from this band this way. The water spigot. I'll show you the water spigot. You can see it. Water spigot's right there. So we're right at the spigot. So we're gonna, you just want this in a place where you can come under here and turn it on and off real quick. So we'll go ahead and cut this anywhere along here is fine. Camera fell over. A little too close to my work there. All right. I'm just gonna cut this. Ooh, you got water in 3D. Let that drip for a minute. That shouldn't take but a second. There's very much water coming out of that line. Oh, that's because we're on the downhill side. So let's do this. We're going to raise this up in the air so the water doesn't run out, because it's going to drain from the hot water tank all the way back, so we don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and prime this. Go ahead and prime this. Let the water run out. Shouldn't be much water on this side. Okay. Let me get a little more primer on that because it kind of got wet. Whoop. Hold that up. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this side first because I got water running everywhere. Hold on, I'm just going to put my finger on there for a second. Okay, I've already primed this one. So all I got to do now is get the glue open. It's going to have to run while I do it. Okay, we're going to do one side at a time on this one. Reason being is I want to shut this water off here. Okay, so once you do that, we're going to shut the water off. There. So now it can't drip. At least on this side it can't drip. Oh, guess what? We forgot to do it again. I forgot to cut a little piece out of here. So we can go ahead and do that now. Just about an inch, not too much. We're going to go on the shorter side of an inch just to make sure we don't cut too much. Okay, now I cut off the primer part that I had done, so we'll have to reprime that. Can't get too much primer. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead back to the glue. always glue the stick side because this ball won't fit in that valve anyway. You don't want glue in your valve. And push it in. And push, and it's good to hold it just for a second. Let it firm up. It pretty much seals in 10 seconds. It's ready to go within 10 seconds. So it's good to go. And close the glue back up so it don't dry out. Now what I'm going to go do is I got to go turn the water on and check for leaks. That's the end of that project. So what we've done is we've installed a shut-off valve inside the crawl space to the outside water spigot. So the outside water spigots, they are iron pipe, black iron pipe. So they conduct cold. So when it gets cold outside, the water is wanting to freeze, and that pipe doesn't help. So it would freeze all the water inside this cast iron pipe and the spigot. And then when it comes in here to this plastic, it's a little bit harder to freeze. A little bit harder. It can still freeze, but it's harder. But at least this is a warm space under here. It's a warmer space than being outside. And wind chill does factor into it too. So all this in the winter, when I have it shut off like this would be winter mode. Then I go outside and I open that spigot and let any water that's in this section drain out. And then this, this can freeze. This could freeze and it's not going to bust your pipe because there's no water in it. So that's the plan. All this should be okay. And I can put insulation around it to make it even better. But the previous owner told me he never had pipes freeze. He would insulate the outside of the spigot. So I'm doing this instead of insulating the outside spigot. I think this will suffice. I may put some insulation on here. I haven't really decided yet. And of course, if we get below like 20 degrees, then I will definitely have to go get some. And maybe even put some heat trace on it, heat tape. But anyway, that's the project. Thanks for joining us on this DIY. I'm going to go get cleaned up. Okay, here's another do-it-yourself project I had done previously but didn't do a video on it just because we forgot. But this is a bidet. So we really like bidets. We think it's cleaner than the traditional toilet paper. So it washes and cleanses the rear area there. But to install this, and that's what we're talking about here, not the discussion on whether to get a bidet or not. But it's all thumb screws, so there were no tools needed for this. You just had to disconnect the line from here, bring it down, and put this valve in here. So, and then turn the water back on. Of course, you turn the water off, put it on, and then turn the water back on. And then check for leaks. So what's really good about this when you go to use it, you just grab it. You can put the holder anywhere you want. You can hang it here. They also have it so you can mount it on the wall. If you want to mount it on the wall, you can do that too. We just decided to hang it here. With this, right, you don't leave it on all the time. So you just turn the valve, turn it on, do your business, turn it off. So you don't have pressure in the line all the time. But that's the only thing it took to install it. And I think it was maybe about 20 bucks or something for a nice one, a stainless steel one. It'll last forever. We had a couple of these. We had one in each bathroom in our other house, and we really enjoyed them. I think it's cleaner. I also think it relieves a little bit more burden on the septic tank system. It doesn't need to break down the toilet paper because there is none. So I think that's a bonus. But it uses water instead of toilet paper. So if there's ever another toilet paper shortage, we're ready. Easy install. No tools. Just these are all thumb screws. You can use your hand.